Welcome, my friends. Layoffs at big tech companies have been ongoing since the spring. But now, layoffs appear to be accelerating. This includes established big names, Web3 unicorns, and everything in between. Today, we are hearing reports from Southern California that media giant Disney is planning layoffs. A leaked memo from Disney CEO Bob Chapek says that Disney is planning a targeted hiring freeze and job cuts. The world is still reverberating from the 50% layoff at Twitter and the 11,000-person layoff at Meta. But it seems as though Wall Street analysts are rewarding CEOs for laying off employees. This video continues our coverage of the wave of layoffs sweeping the United States. What does it mean for the housing market? What does it mean for the economy? And what does it mean for the future of the United States? But before we get into all of that, please press the like button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. According to an internally leaked memo from CEO Bob Chapek, Disney plans to conduct a targeted hiring freeze. And, of course, layoffs. We are limiting headcount additions through a targeted hiring freeze, CEO Bob Chapek said in a memo to division leads. Hiring for the small subset of the most critical, business-driving positions will continue, but all other roles are on hold, the memo from Chapek continued. Your segment leaders and HR teams have more specific details on how this will apply to your teams, the memo continued. As we work through this evaluation process, we will look at every avenue of operations and labor to find savings, and we do anticipate some staff reductions as part of this review, Chapek added in the memo. Disney had about 190,000 employees at the end of Q3. Just to put that in perspective, Google has 174,000 employees. Meta has 87,000 employees, prior to the planned layoff of 11,000 people. And Twitter had 7,500 employees before Elon Musk announced a 50% layoff. Business travel should be limited to essential trips only, Chapek also said in the memo. Meetings should be conducted virtually as much as possible, he also wrote in the memo. Disney is also establishing a cost structure task force to be made up of Chief Financial Officer Christine McCarthy, General Counsel Horacio Gutierrez and Chapek added in the memo. I am fully aware this will be a difficult process for many of you and your teams, Chapek wrote. We are going to have to make tough and uncomfortable decisions, Chapek added. But that is just what leadership requires, and I thank you in advance for stepping up during this important time, Chapek also noted. Like many companies, Disney reported disappointing Q3 earnings. And who did they blame? You guessed it, the usual whipping boy, weakening macroeconomic conditions. I think that Wall Street analysts are getting tired of hearing that. Shares of Disney fell sharply after the disappointing Q3 earnings call. In fact, the share price reached a new 52-week low, before rebounding a little bit later in the week. The company was looking for ways to trim costs, said Disney CFO Christine McCarthy in the earnings call. We are actively evaluating our cost base currently, and we're looking for meaningful efficiencies, she said. Some of those are going to provide some near-term savings, McCarthy continued. And others are going to drive longer-term structural benefits, McCarthy also said. Disney's streaming service Disney Plus lost $1.47 billion in Q3. But we should note that Disney Plus has accumulated 100 million subscribers in just 3 years since its inception. By way of comparison, Netflix took 20 years to build a subscriber base of 220 million. But the streaming business is overcrowded and fragmented. Disney lost twice as much on Disney Plus in Q3 versus the prior quarter. McCarthy said losses at Disney Plus will improve in 2023. According to Chapek, streaming will become cash flow profitable by the end of 2024. As you probably already heard, other large media and entertainment companies have made job cuts this year. Warner Brothers, Discovery, Netflix, HBO Max. I don't know about you, but I really wonder about this announcement. It seems that CEOs are getting the message from Wall Street analysts that the more layoffs, the more we will recommend your stock. And I think that pretty much all big corporates have some amount of fake jobs. There is always fat and waste in corporate organizations. But this one makes me a little suspicious. Disney has traditionally been a very well-managed company. And, despite its losses, Disney Plus has shown excellent growth. If it truly becomes profitable in 2024, that will be a good outcome. I often wonder when CEOs say that business travel should be cut to only essential trips. Why haven't they been approving only essential trips all along? It makes me feel that, outside of this newly created period of austerity, wasteful business trips are okay. And it somewhat makes me lose faith in how corporate America is managed. On the other hand, I would say that Disney has a lot of moving parts. Theme parks are just getting back on their feet after the pandemic. But have you checked entry prices to Disney theme parks lately? They are sky high. And I really wonder whether they are pricing out average American families. Disney does need to rationalize the financial picture and bring its earnings in line with stock valuation. But given the fragmentation of the streaming industry, consolidation must take place. So, Disney needs to decide whether it wants to be a buyer or a seller in that space. Given Disney's vast library of titles and ownership of ESPN, I would say that it needs to be a buyer. And, Warner Bros. Discovery needs to find a buyer. I would say that Disney needs to get its share price and earnings up so that it can be something of a consolidator in the streaming space. Hopefully for Disney, this newly discovered financial discipline will help to get them where they need to be. Meanwhile, layoffs continue in the tech patch. As you probably know, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg just dropped the big one. Meta is laying off 11,000 employees. Elon Musk dropped that big one on Twitter employees on Friday. But Twitter is not profitable, and Elon Musk said that Twitter suffered a major revenue collapse in Q3. So Twitter might be in freefall for all we know. For his part, Elon Musk is doing what he thinks he can do to right the ship at Twitter. Keep in mind that Twitter has never been profitable. If you follow this channel or the general financial news, you already know that Meta has been quietly reducing headcount. Meta had a disastrous Q3 earnings call, to say the least. Wall Street analysts are getting very frustrated about the shrinking core business at Meta. And about Mark Zuckerberg's insistence on spending so heavily on the metaverse. It is almost as if Meta is abandoning the business that rocketed it to the top of the social network hierarchy. Most CEOs believe that a recession is coming and want to prepare their companies for it. So, people are feeling uneasy about the security of their jobs. Consumers are pulling back on discretionary spending. Corporate marketers are cutting back on ad spending, especially online. And ad spending is the lifeblood of most big tech companies. Now that Twitter is owned by Elon Musk, all other big tech CEOs will be compared to Elon Musk. So Elon Musk has the courage to cut 50% of the employee base. So, in many ways, Friday might have been a major turning point for tech companies. It is not just Twitter. Many Silicon Valley companies are gearing up for recession with layoffs. But, what do you think? Please leave us a comment below and hit the like button. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. Please share this video on social media. Thank you for watching.